Hey there, in the video today I'll be showing you how you can create a full screen video background to your Articulate Storyline project. Before we get started, there are a couple of additional tools you'll need in order to create this. The first one will be a tool like Brackets. Brackets is an open source text editor which allows you to preview the code before you publish it to the web. The other tool you'll need will be a media repository. In this example, I'm using Cloudinary. I highly recommend that you use Cloudinary as there are some features of Cloudinary I'll be using in today's tutorial. So kicking things off in Cloudinary, I've already found a video which I'll be using for this demonstration. This video I found on Cover, and I'll provide you a link to Cover in the video description. Now that I've imported my video into my Cloudinary account, I want to go ahead and apply some transformations. The first transformation we'll apply will be a quality transformation, and we'll be reducing the quality to economy mode. We'll be doing this because it is a video, it is quite a large file, and we want to reduce any possible lag time for loading once your learner jumps into the Articulate Storyline project. In my previous video, I showed you that once you apply a transformation, Cloudinary will refresh the preview and also input an orange line of code into the URL. This orange line of code reflects the transformation which you've just applied to your asset. Moving on, we'll now want to drop down and go to More Options. And in this example, I want to add a background to the video. And we can go in and add the hex code or drag the color palette to our desired color. So I'll be going ahead and making that a black background. And now we'll move up to Effect and add in a fade effect. Just like before, once we've applied those transformations, we can refresh the preview and see how the video now looks with those transformations applied. So we can now see that with those transformations applied, the video has a fade in effect, and we'll leave this URL as it is for the moment. From here, we'll jump into our Articulate Storyline project. Now in today's video, I'll be picking up on the project which I've been showcasing in the previous two videos, where I showed you how you can apply a full screen background image to Articulate Storyline projects, as well as applying transformations to images from Cloudinary, and also creating a transparent background in Articulate Storyline. So in the project today, I've gone ahead and removed any of the triggers that were in this project, as we don't require those triggers. We'll be adding in the video via HTML and CSS by editing the story.html file, which Articulate Storyline provides us once we publish our file. I've also gone ahead and applied some basic fade in animations to the assets that are on the project. Finally, the last thing I've done is just kept the background at 100% transparency. So now that we've got those assets all ready to go, I'll go ahead and publish this Articulate Storyline file, and I'll jump into the story.html file. So now that we've exported our Articulate Storyline project and opened the story.html file within brackets, we can see the output code. Now there's a couple of things we want to do here, and the first one will be editing the inline CSS code of the file. So the first thing we want to look for are the style tags, and you can do a Control F to find those tags, or we can see those up the top here. So what we want to do is expand this so that we can include our code, and I'll be including this code for you within the description section. So now that we've got that space, we'll go ahead and copy in our code into the style tag. There are a couple of elements within the style tag that you need to be aware of. The first one being the background URL, and I've got placeholder text where it says video name here, .mp4. We'll come back and edit that later on. The next one is we don't want this video to be repeating. We then have the background size of the video taking up 100% of the browser, both height and width, and the overflow as hidden. We also then have some additional CSS here that is controlling position, the height, and the location of the video. We'll come back and edit the background URL name later on. Now that we've done that, we want to now expand the body section of the HTML so that we can add in our own HTML for the video. So again, you can use Control F to find the body tag, or I can find it here underneath the style tag. So now that we've found that, we'll again just expand that out and copy the HTML into the body tag. Again, there are a couple of elements of the code that you need to understand. We have the video as auto-playing, the video is muted, we have the ID as bgvid, which is referring to our custom CSS. We will be editing the source URL with the URL we have from Cloudinary. And the type is a video, which is an MP4. So now that we've got all the code into the story.html file, we can now go ahead and grab that URL from our Cloudinary. So the first thing we'll do is edit the HTML by removing the video URL here and placing in our Cloudinary video URL. The next thing we want to do is copy the video name, and we can see that towards the end of the URL. We want to copy that exactly as it is written within the URL. So we'll copy that and then move up to our CSS, and where in the code you have video name here, we'll replace that with what we've copied. Now that we have all our CSS and our HTML in place, we can go ahead and live preview the output. Within brackets, you can do a live preview by clicking the lightning bolt in the top right hand corner. And there we have our full screen video background from Untitled Storyline and Cloudinary. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and drop me a comment if there are any future tutorials which you'd like to see.